We've been seeing a lot of Trump officials getting fired because they haven't met Trump's standards of unconstitutional dictatorship. To me, it looks like either Kash Patel or Pete Hegseth is going to be the next one on the chopping block, and that's not really surprising. Later in the show, we'll get to why I think Pete Hegseth might be fired, but for now, let's talk about Kash Patel. Now, if you're seeing this video, then I'm certain you've already seen this Bombshell Atlantic article where they talk about his constant woes at work, including but not limited to him attempting to log into a computer system at the FBI headquarters, and it denied him access because of an IT issue. He then called 9 people and told them that he was fired before Trump even said anything. He wasn't fired, by the way, just to be clear. He was just so paranoid about it happening that he immediately called 9 different people about it. Now, I'm going to read you 17 specific claims in the article, which Kash has labeled as numerous false and defamatory statements of fact about him. One of the claims is that he is known to drink to the point of obvious intoxications, with many cases at the private club Ned's in Washington, D.C., while in the presence of White House and other administration staff, and that he drinks to the point of excess in the Poodle Room in Las Vegas, where he frequently spends parts of his weekends. It also says that on multiple occasions in the past year, members of his security detail had difficulty waking Patel because he was seemingly intoxicated. And according to the article, he's in fact in such a stupor that they had to request breaching equipment, which is normally used by SWAT for hostage rescue, because they thought that he might have been dead in his office. Now, Kash has clapped back by saying the Atlantic story is a lie and that they were given the truth before they published, and yet they chose to print falsehoods anyway. He also says, I took this job to protect the American people, and this FBI has delivered the most prolific reduction in crime in U.S. history. Fake news won't report on it, and their toxicity will never erode nor stop our mission. I mean, the sheer irony of accusing somebody else of toxicity coming from the MAGA side of government is absolutely insane to me. And then yesterday, he launched his lawsuit against them for defamation. If he doesn't already know that this isn't going to go well for him, then somebody has to tell him. In 1964, the Supreme Court ruled in a case called New York Times Company versus Sullivan, said that a public figure must show that the publisher has acted with actual malice to prevail in defamation claim. So he's going to have to work very hard as a public figure to determine that this was actually a defamation claim. Because if you don't know this, people who are like celebrities or in politics are going to have a very hard time claiming defamation because of their public figure status. It's not just these things that were reported on by The Atlantic that should require him to be fired. There's a whole lot of other stuff stretching back for the past 14 months that should be, in any normal political environment, would be cause for him to be fired. Okay, enough about Kash Patel. Let's move on to Joe Rogan. If you'll think back to about 2 weeks ago, Trump was in a bit of a tizzy about social media influencers like Joe Rogan, who were coming after him about his Iran war and his absolutely insane Easter post. And, basically, he's been trying to appease Joe Rogan recently. Joe Rogan recently was invited to the White House a couple of days ago, where he was talking about a new drug that he supports called ibogaine. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but it's a new drug that he's been endorsing. And basically, and this is crazy, he texted Trump about it. He texted Trump the information about it, which I can assure you that Trump didn't read. If Trump can read, he didn't take the time to read it. And he, quote, responded, "Sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it." I'm really glad that the President of the United States is so busy with informing himself before making decisions. It really reflects poorly on the country and on the office of the president when the president will just say, "Sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it." And by the way, this is coming from the same people who said that the COVID vaccine came out way too quickly, with no studies, with no research, and it's just here. Well, Trump just said, "Sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it." Absolutely no research. These guys are hypocrites, and this is absolutely insane that we still are dealing with this. How are we still dealing with this in 2026? And by the way, this is from the same NIH that's currently investigating Trump derangement syndrome under HR 3432. Basically, there was a bill in May of 2025 that directed the NIH to study Trump derangement syndrome, which has, quote, been described as behavioral or psychological phenomenon involving the intense emotional or cognitive reactions to Donald J. Trump, his actions, or his public presence, with early documented references emerging during his 2016 presidential campaign. It just goes on and on and on about Trump derangement syndrome, this absolutely made-up phenomenon that Trump seems to care so much about. Now, I pointed that out because I thought it was kind of funny, but the stuff with Joe Rogan is just weird to me. I mean, Joe Rogan, just a week ago or a week or two ago, Trump made a tweet talking about how awful of a person he is, how much he hates America, all these things that are probably untrue. And then today, Joe Rogan standing behind Trump at the Resolute desk. Like, what are we doing, people? Like, do we not have morals? Are we total hypocrites? I know they're total hypocrites. I probably shouldn't say that. But, this is all just crazy to me.